Hey, it's Enigma Hood, and I want to talk about aliens and stuff. There was this idiot who was commenting on one of my videos about uh, why I think that aliens or intelligent aliens are very unlikely to be humanoids. And if you want to know my reasons, just go watch that video. It's a great misconception. All the arguments are there. But he kept on saying why aliens, specifically intelligent aliens, need to be humanoid because it needs to be able to have, it needs to be able to see, it needs to be able to manipulate the environment using two arms, it needs eyes that are stereoscopic, so it needs two eyes and stuff like that. And I said, are you fucking stupid? Don't you think these are the only ways to accomplish those tasks? I said, to manipulate the environment, it could have tentacles. It could use other workers, smaller workers like drones or whatever, to manipulate the environment for it. It could use telekinesis. And then to observe the environment, to see, it could use other methods. It doesn't need to have eyes. It could have telepathy. It could have echolocation. It could have something else, something completely different. And then I couldn't believe his response. He pulled out every single fallacy that religious people use against atheists. He basically he basically said that telepathy. Okay, here's one of the things that he said. He said telekinesis is impossible, and the reason is because it has never been observed before. So that's proof that it can't possibly exist. That is, this is the reason why you can't say God doesn't exist. Like, the first thing I thought was, wow, I can't believe that he doesn't realize this is a very common argument that's used in, God discussions. You can't say God doesn't exist because then the burden of proof is on you to back up that claim with evidence. That's why we can't say that in the literal sense, in the technical sense. We can only just say, I don't believe in God. So when you're and you can apply that same exact logic to anything else, including telekinesis or telepathy or anything. You can't say that it doesn't exist just because we don't have evidence that it doesn't exist. Otherwise, you have to prove it. The burden of proof is now on you to prove that telekinesis and telepathy don't exist. Now, with that said, I'm not suggesting that they do exist. I wasn't suggesting that at all. I was just throwing it out there as a possibility, one out of many possibilities, by the way, of how a life form could manipulate or observe its environment. As long as we don't know, I'm keeping an open mind. I'm not saying telepathy or telekinesis is impossible. I'm not saying it's necessarily, it does exist. I'm not saying it does exist. I'm saying that as long as we don't know, let's be open-minded. How do we know? If we have not scratched the surface of this universe and explored it, then, really the possibilities are endless for what life could be capable of because we know so little about life. We just don't know anything about it. So, that's why I say those things. And he even said, I said, what if the life form lives on, I said, you are making all these statements about how life exists on an Earth-like planet. What if life exists on a non-Earth-like planet? What if it lives on a planet that's entirely made of liquid nitrogen? Or what if it lives in a gas giant? And then he said that sentient life cannot possibly exist on those kinds of planets. How do you know? When you say those statements, you are making a claim. This is exactly the reason why you can't say God doesn't exist. Because then you're making a claim and you have to prove that. Be open-minded and don't be a fucking idiot. Now, with that said, the reason why I don't like people making any kind of statements about alien life is because we don't know anything about life. We only know about life here on Earth. Now, I can understand if we, had colonized the entire galaxy and we have observed life on many different worlds, and let's say that we colonized the galaxy and we have only observed life to exist on Earth-like planets. Only Earth-like planets. Then, at that point, I would begin to say, you know what, yeah, it's probably true that life only exists on Earth-like planets, then we have more evidence. We have accumulated more evidence, so we can make a better assessment of the situation. What the fuck have we explored in this universe so far? Like, almost nothing. We only know a lot about what happens on Earth, but we don't know jack shit about what's going on in the rest of the galaxy, let alone the universe. And even if we only explored our galaxy, you could say still that there's still hundreds of millions of galaxies out there that we have not explored, so we can't really make any clear assessments about where life can exist still. Okay? We can make at least a better assessment than we can now. We definitely cannot say anything about life right now. We don't even know what life is. Yes, we have these technical definitions of what life is based on what little we have observed about life here on planet Earth, but we don't know what the fuck life is. We really don't know what it is. And no one can tell me what life is. What the fuck is life? What is life? You know, I've heard some scientists say that viruses are not life. Then I heard other scientists say that they are life under another definition. You know, it's like, what the fuck is it? We don't know. It's still a mystery. We don't even know exactly how it arose here on our planet. It is the biggest mystery in the universe. And the irony is that we are alive. We ourselves are life, and we don't know what we are. Isn't that fucked up? That's fucked up. Don't tell me about where life can exist or what it is when we don't fucking know. This is Enigma Hood signing off.